Oh my God, it's worse than I could possibly imagine. Okay,
with power lines down.
Entire. It's in the entire back of the house. Okay.
Firefighters are not going to be able to respond to Boulder County because of the blockage.
I think he's totally trapped in there. My house. His bedroom is in the back. The entire. I just went in the front of the house. The entire back of the house is collapsed in. Okay.
When you look at the photos from the aftermath of the flood, it's just overwhelming how much disaster we experienced throughout the county.
And you could hear the rocks rolling down in the water. It made the ground shake even. It truly made me numb.
Well, during the whole event, we had 17 inches of rain that did fall in our county.
Yeah, there was a big difference in this event versus previous disasters in that it was so huge, and that it was a presidential declared disaster, which is sort of off the charts in regards to the things that we've had to handle before.
I was thinking more of when is the day going to come when it isn't going to rain. That was a frustrating part because we knew we had people that were really, impacted by this. They were suffering. Some people lost their lives. We knew people lost their homes.
When we saw the airlifts, the people coming in on the helicopters, every person had a story.
It was beyond the scope of what we had practiced or anticipated, so we were doing a lot of thinking on our feet. So the first 24 or 48 hours of the event, deputies were actively involved in rescues. In the last 12 years since I've been sheriff, we've had 7 historical fires. We began to realize that we needed to build capacity and ability to deal with large-scale emergencies. We were prepared for a large-scale disaster.
It's good to coordinate because I had information on some closures that other agencies in the USC didn't, and vice versa. Having that system in place where the key people that are associated with emergency are all in one room and is extremely important and valuable.
Right now, we're thinking it will be about $217 million to complete all of the recovery projects that we've been talking to the community about. The flood recovery funds are coming from a variety of sources, but what we're seeing is with a $217 million recovery program, we're depleting those reserve funds pretty rapidly.
Even before the roads were open, Parks and Open Space staff were out conducting site visits of all the different creeks to better understand the level of damage and the hazard from the woody debris. Parks and Open Space has done an incredible job of repairing over 75% of the properties damaged by the flood, and work is ongoing.
Right after the flood, we had to get in there and allow people to get home as quickly as possible. So we did whatever we could to make it safe for people to get home. We're anticipating that the cost to repair all the roads will be about $110 million. To put that in perspective, our normal annual capital budget is about $5 million a year. There's a lot involved in making the roads permanent. We have to work with all the property owners. We have to figure out what the creek is going to do in the future. Everything is different in these canyons. So we're working hard now. We're not waiting around, but working with all the folks who need to be involved to make sure we're doing it right and the roads last well into the future.
The FERPIC is Boulder County's Flood Rebuilding Permit and Information Center.
So the FERPIC has given us an opportunity to create sort of a one-stop shop for flood victims. So one of the biggest challenges to this flood is the fact that the damage that was created was so complex. The collaboration between departments is really valuable here because we need to pull in aspects of all different areas of the county.
In the immediate period following the flood, the FERPIC really gave people someplace to go to tell their story. Those strong relationships that folks at the FERPIC have established with property owners have been essential to a successful recovery.
So right after the flood, all of the permits that we issued for accesses were temporary. Now we're more in the recovery phase, and there are a lot of repairs that have been done to the roads. So in those places where the creek hasn't moved and there is no further extensive road work to be done, we can issue a permanent floodplain development permit. So in order to restore or repair an access to a property, the best thing to do is either call the FERPIC or come in and we can have an inspector go out and look at the property.
The buyout program is a way for property owners basically to walk away from properties that were severely damaged or destroyed. So the purpose of the buyout program is twofold. It's to remove properties and families from hazardous locations, and it's also to keep those locations, those floodplains, open and clear of structures to prevent future loss. For more information about the buyout program, people can either contact their case manager or they can come in and talk to FERPIC staff.
Federal funds have been starting to flow into Boulder County now in the form of the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funds.
CDBG-DR funding can help residents with rehabilitation of their home. There are all kinds of different areas that are considered rehabilitation for CDBG-DR funds. CDBG-DR funding can also provide rent assistance. The CDBG-DR application is available online, and it's important to understand that the county has made a commitment to the state that they will serve the most vulnerable population first.
So very soon after the flood, we knew that the next potential disaster would be all the debris damming up in spring runoff. So we were very aggressive in launching our debris cleanup programs. We provided roll-offs in different neighborhoods. We instituted a roadside debris program. And then finally, we also created the high hazard debris removal program, which we got permission from residents to go into the creeks and remove all of the hazardous debris that could be a problem during spring runoff.
So we've been working with Workforce Boulder County to create an employment program where we're putting people to work, giving them chainsaws and hand tools and backhoes to go out on private property and really help those homeowners not able to complete the cleanup of the flood debris by themselves.
So after the emergency response to the flood was winding down, I realized that we had experienced damages to our watershed on a scale and in ways that the county has never seen before. Comprehensive Creek Planning Initiative was the response to that damage of the waterways. Ultimately, the Creek Plan will produce a list of projects. The purpose of having this list is so that we can get in line for future funding. So go to the website, look up your creek, and then there'll be specific contact information for how to get involved.
Our recovery process in Boulder County is projected to be at least 5 years, and in reality it's much longer than that.
And on the surface it may look like things have fully recovered, but there's quite a bit of infrastructure work that needs to be done. There's a lot of work to get people's homes back in shape.
If we hadn't have had the help from the county officials who were just phenomenal in helping out to get the infrastructure rebuilt so that we could individually rebuild our own properties.
One thing that we try to help residents do is own their own recovery and come up with their own recovery plan. That's a key piece.
We have new programs coming online, new funding sources. We just ask people to stay in contact with us so we can work with you.
So we're seeing communities coming together in ways that are unique, and we think will help them in the future in response.
Through the course of the recovery, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, and I'm just amazed by the resilience, the determination that people are showing. Yeah, I feel very grateful to be in this position. It's just really inspiring to see people rise up.
Most people were looking at the neighborhood saying, well, everybody else is going to move out of here. Nobody's going to want to stay here now. Maybe we'll be the only ones left. Virtually without exception, everybody here has said, we're going to rebuild and we're going to be stronger than ever.
The county is very committed for the long haul in this recovery.